World was terrified by what they found frozen in ice. If you've ever watched Encino Man or Avatar, you already know that there are some truly great things or people that may be found literally frozen in time in an ice block. It makes sense that scientists would find some really amazing items because ice protects things and slows down the aging process. The world is so fantastic and still teeming with cruel, desolate landscapes that we haven't yet tamed, as well as hidden treasures like vast underground cities. That is true even in our current era, and as it turns out, there are other locations where some fascinating and peculiar objects have been entirely eaten by the globe. However, thanks to global warming, we are rediscovering many of those things, but to be honest, some are better off in the ground. So, let's have a look on what has made world terrified by what they found frozen in ice. The real Encino Man. If you've never seen Encino Man, it's a silly comedy about a caveman that two teenagers found in the ice played by Brendan Fraser. Despite how absurd it may seem, the movie is based on a true story. Of course, the actual person that was discovered in an ice block did not come to life. Scientists determined the corpse's age to be between 300 and 600 years old when it was found in Canada in 1999. The hunters who found him also came across his walking stick and fur coat in addition to his well-preserved remains. The intriguing aspect of this case is that using DNA analysis, they were able to identify over 15 living relatives of the man who had been called the Canadian Iceman. Millions of grasshoppers. Nothing is more breathtaking than the untouched beauty of a glacier. If you are familiar with the history of the American Midwest and West, you will remember that locusts and grasshoppers have a propensity to wreck a lot of things there. We're talking about one in Montana. They also completely destroyed a glacier. This mile-long, half-mile-wide glacier west of Coke City is known as Grasshopper Glacier because it was overflowed with millions and millions of grasshoppers. The Montana Office of Tourism reports that a 1914 examination of grasshopper samples revealed they belonged to a species that had been extinct for around 200 years. The unfortunate swarm was probably traveling over the mountains when they got caught in the weather, according to the experts. After passing away, they were buried in the glacier by blizzards that lasted for ages. You can encounter frozen locusts elsewhere in the Beartooth Mountains besides Grasshopper Glacier as well. Additionally, there is Hopper Glacier and a second Grasshopper Glacier since innovation is really difficult. A woolly mummified mammoth. The Mammoth Club's name, Yucca, was inspired by the adjacent settlement of Yugakur, where she was discovered. The baby mammoth's discovery site is 30 kilometers from the Kondrativ River. In 2010, the neighborhood Siberian tusk hunters discovered this young woolly mammoth and they were kind enough to give it to the local researchers. She was kept in a refrigerator while the scientists first spent some time investigating for a few years. She was afterwards sent to Moscow where she was kept in storage. Yuka was between the ages of 6 and 8 when she passed away, and although it was not proven, it is unlikely that she was attacked by some big cats or other predators. She is said to be the best preserved mammoth in human history, and scientists hope to clone her. A rare copper arrowhead. By pure chance, an ancient item was discovered by archaeologist Christian Thomas and his colleagues when they were in the Yukon filming a documentary. When the scientists observed a herd of caribou while flying over a mountain top, they chose to land. Thomas noticed a barbed antler arrow shaft poking through the ice on the ground. The 11-inch long arrow fragment has a copper hunting arrow point at the tip. Because it is one of the oldest instances of copper metallurgy and bow and arrow technology were discovered in the Yukon, the discovery is noteworthy. A rare woolly rhino. Remains of woolly rhinos are quite uncommon. Only 2 entire adult corpses with undamaged hair have been discovered since the 18th century. That is why it was a huge deal when a hunter discovered Sasha, the only whole newborn woolly rhino ever found. The infant woolly rhino, which last roamed the planet at least 10,000 years ago, was discovered in Siberia on a frozen riverbed. Researchers estimate that she was around 7 months old when she passed away, and she was about 5 feet long and 2.5 feet tall. If so, she would be far larger than a modern rhino, which doesn't reach the size until it is roughly 18 months old. One fish eating another. Some scientific discoveries of almost limitless worth, while others alter the course of human history. Others circulate on social media prompting cries of fake. This one is undoubtedly the latter, but the Telegraph claims that it isn't a hoax and is instead just really unsettling. The video was captured by 2 brothers who were out fishing on Indiana's Wawasee Lake when they spotted what seemed to be a pike in the midst of devouring a bass. When the two shared a picture online, no one online appeared to believe they had been frozen in place. They uploaded a video showing themselves extracting the fish from the frozen lake in an effort to disprove the critics on the internet. They had really been completely frozen. The pike choked on the base, died, and was frozen, which is the best explanation. Talk about making things worse. Children of Laco. On March 16, 1999, Johan Reinhardt and his team archaeologists found this discovery close to Laco's top at a height of 6,739 meters. Between the waters of Chile and Argentina is the location. The three kids were confined to a tiny chamber 1.5 meters down and allowed to perish there. Inspectors revealed that they were presumably drugged and killed about 1500 as part of an Inca ceremonial ceremony. There were three kids, 2 boys and 2 girls. The oldest of them was a 13-year-old female. They had a significant alcohol and cocaine consumption according to the study of the hairs on their bodies. According to the expert who inspected the body, the remains were in such good a condition that they appeared to be dozing off. They were among the best and most well-preserved mummies in the world, and they belonged to the Inca civilization. A Yuki surprise. A dark shaft was once discovered by experts within the preserved excrement of an old caribou, which can only be described as a terrible surprise. Uncertainty surrounds how the draft shaft got into the caribou and eventually came out in excrement, but the discovery is nonetheless amazing. Why are the items found in the caribou's poop so significant? Well, for scientists, it demonstrates the presence of people in the region, who were adept artisans and hunters. These kinds of artifacts may tell us a lot about the local environment, including where animals once roamed and what other creatures were present. Meteorite from Mars. On December 27, 1984, a group of American meteor hunters found a piece of a Martian meteorite in the Allen Hills of Antarctica. Although it was reportedly believed that Allen Hills 84001 originated on Mars, it was technically distinct from its Mars-born brethren in terms of mass. After thorough investigation, a scientist asserted in 1996 that microscopic bacterium fossils found on the meteorite proved there was bacterial life on Mars. The news soon went viral and attracted interest on a global scale. Bill Clinton, who was president at the time, also spoke about the potential findings. Despite the fact that the theory was eventually rejected by the scientific community and all of the particular bits of data were utilized to demonstrate that the potential has not yet materialized. Even though the event was contentious at first and eventually proven unsuitable, it became a historically significant event in the area of astrobiology as a result of the articles that were first published on it and the media coverage it received. Red ice. Huge subsurface lakes and other wacky environmental and geological discoveries have been made in Antarctica. Imagine a frozen waterfall that blatantly resembles a scene from the Stephen King's The Shining that you could experience when staying at the Stanley Inn. This region of the continent is referred to as blood falls because it exhibits a surreal phenomena that causes the water to flow crimson like blood. The presence of significant levels of iron from a subglacial lake located below the surface is one of the natural explanations for why water might take on this tint. As a result, the region is currently referred to as Taylor Valley. Griffith Taylor, an Australian geologist, made the discovery back in 1911. Anyone who can make the trip to Antarctica should do so to witness this scene, which is simply breathtaking. Each discovery made from beneath the thick layers of permafrost that have covered entire regions of our modern world, from subglacial lakes to polynyas to petrified fossils, can tell scientists everything they need to know about the ever-changing climate and the state of the environment throughout the different periods of history. They have occasionally been able to get their hands on the microbes discovered inside fossils and other artifacts collected to delve further into the composition of the environment across time. And other times, by reawakening some of the dormant plants, they've even been able to transform those windows into doors. What do you think about these incredible items discovered frozen in ice? They really catch your attention, don't they? They help us and understand that there is a lot we still need to learn about our tiny planet.